Hello, y'all, and welcome back to Green Book TV. Tonight, I'm interviewing these amazing business builders in Tampa Bay. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. So tell us, who are you and what do you do?
Hello, my name is Dovev Weaver, also known as Coach D. I am the founder of Closer to Our Dreams LLC, which is a business development and marketing consulting firm. We focus on educating entrepreneurs, helping them get clear about their mission, who their ideal clients are, and how to start generating revenue. And we are excited to be on this interview.
Thank you. Who's next?
Hello, my name is Lina, but everybody, they call me Lina and Leone. Leone is actually short for Sierra Leone, where my family is from, West Africa. So that's where the name comes from. I am the founder of Black Owned Business Connect LLC, which is basically a nonprofit organization that curates different ways to network and connect Black entrepreneurs and businesses in the community through different events, our online database, and connecting them through other different sources to give them visibility. Under my nonprofit, I have my other businesses, which is Lina Leone Video Graphics, which is my graphics business that I've now kind of turned into a consulting agency. So all of the knowledge and education that I received from doing graphics and working with other people, I've been able to curate different formulas and plans for other businesses to curate their own content as well. So I'm starting up these classes where I'll be teaching people how to turn their content into capital. I gear more towards the Black community because we're kind of the ones that need that visibility. We're the ones that don't get it. But I don't necessarily only work with people in the Black community because at the end of the day, the purpose is to connect us and open those doors for us to, go in. That's basically what I do in a nutshell. And yes, I'm very happy to be here. Thanks, Hillary.
Thank you. Awesome. And last but not least, tell us who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Paige Tucker. I am the owner of Be Your Best You LLC. I am a boutique brand coaching and marketing consulting agency. We specialize in helping leaders shine in their industry. And so we do that by helping leaders to grow their business, promote their brand identities, and share their brand stories. Our services are brand coaching, digital media marketing, and our brand photography.
Yes. All right. I love it. So I have a few questions for y'all today. Just jump in where it makes sense. You don't have to answer everything, of course, but if I still want to hear from you. So, I wouldn't be mad if you answered everything. And I think I probably should say who I am. I'm Hillary Van Dyke, the executive director of the Green Book of Tampa Bay. We're Black-owned business directory, mostly doing that, plus a lot of art, curating events, as well as different events for folks to attend that are related to highlighting Black-owned businesses. At the end of this, we'll make sure you know how to follow everybody on Instagram and Facebook. So please look out for that information. So with that said, y'all, what inspired you to do the work that you were doing?
I can go first. So since I moved to St. Pete, which was like 11 years ago, I've always been about community, um, especially the Black community. As soon as I moved here, I was like, okay, where are the Black people? Like, where are they at? And so I worked in community for a while. I worked for a local government organization where I found that I was the voice for the Black people because I was one of maybe 7 people there. So they always like, well, why do Black people do this? Why do this? And so, and so I found that I didn't feel that those organizations were utilizing their resources in the way that would be most helpful for organizations, which was capacity building. So you like give all these grants and things like that, but you're not making sure that infrastructure is in place and these organizations are actually sustainable. So I decided to start my own coaching and consulting a business while I was focusing on organization development and capacity building. COVID happened and I had to pivot and I became a brand and marketing agency. But in that, there were a lot of Black businesses that struggled with COVID because they had zero visibility online. So my business really shined and really grew because I was able to really help so many organizations develop a strong brand identity and start to show up online in a way that would help them stand out because everybody was online. So truly, it was just to help my community.
I love that. I love that. Coach D, what about you? Let's hear from you.
Yeah, no problem. For me, man, it's been a long journey. I actually, to be honest, was a mentor for Coordinated Childcare, which is an organization that helped at-risk kids at a high school. And so my first dream was, of course, to write my book. So that's kind of spiraled. And what I tell people is like, focus on the one thing that once you accomplish that dream, it opened up doors for everything else. So once I finished the book, it allowed me to start being able to go straight to the schools and be like, look, I've talked to the kids about how to attach their goals and dreams to their education. And the crazy thing is, a lot of people see my success now and like, yo, you're an overnight success. Is like, no, for the first 5 to 7 years, I didn't even charge to speak. I would literally just go in there and just pour into these kids, and I would do it around Great American Teach-In. So fast forward to now, we have Closer to Our Dreams, which is the actual business. Although we help businesses, I sometimes go in and talk directly to the kids. And so I actually did that this past month, where I spoke at a elementary school in Tampa. God, it gets me so excited. I spoke to 4th and 5th graders. Let me just tell you, I love how they dream so big. It's like they have no limited beliefs. I was talking to all of them about, hey, do you know what it is to be an entrepreneur? They said no. But by the time I was done, I always ask this question, who has a business idea? All 40 kids raised their hand. I couldn't even get to all of them. But the reason I share that story is because what gets me excited about this business is being able to expose more Black owned businesses, minority owned businesses, and give them opportunities and platforms to speak on. That's why I get excited about our events, because I can literally reach out to someone like Paige and say, hey, you talk about branding, like I need you on the stage, sell your products. I don't care nothing about that, because I feel like it's all about collaboration. The more we can collaborate and work together, we can build wealth, right? And I think we're kind of behind on, like other generations, other people do this, ethnicities, and we don't. Like we got to get on page where we start working together and stop operating from this scarcity mindset and realize it's abundance out there. I know I can't serve every customer. So why wouldn't I want to partner with people like Paige, Lina, Hillary to build something special together, right? So yeah. All right. So that's kind of, sorry I went on a little tangent, but that's what gets me excited, being able to, help people chase their goals and dreams of creating a profitable business.
Love it, love it. And Lina. Okay, first of all, knowing what Lina and Leone is now, I have more questions. I'm gonna ask them offline though, but I love it. I love it. Anyways, what about you? What inspired you to start doing what you do?
What inspired me? I guess there's like a plethora of things. I guess it's like changed over the years as life has changed. It really all started when I was younger. I was already into the event planning scene. My dad was a DJ, and he was the original DJs, vinyl records and CDs. And he was able to be a DJ for different ethnicities, different people. And it just was always so surprising to me that my African dad that came from Africa was able to become a DJ and learn all these different cultural music and cater to these people. My mom, she went to school to become a chef and automatically caterer for every event. So, being around my parents and seeing how they were able to maneuver and do things just in their culture alone always, is something that I always wanted to do. But, I grew up in that kind of stigma. I wish I grew up in the Poconos, only Black kid there, and there wasn't Coach D to come and talk to me about anything. So, I don't have these other Black people to look up to. It's just me. My only thing is, I just kind of want to get out this area, and I go into the military. Go into the military, I become an administrator, but I still have this event itch. So I start planning events there, memorials, birthday parties, baby showers, for a whole bunch of different people. Got out of the Marine Corps, went to college, got my undergrad in Homeland Security. And, everybody in the family is thinking that I'm still going this route, but not knowing that now I'm in New York, and I can really plan events. And now I'm this big promoter, and I'm promoting events, and I'm, getting in tune with everybody, and I'm planning all these different events. And then, tragedy hits, something happens in my family, and I have to move down to Florida to take care of my mom. And things start changing in my life. I don't feel like partying for no reason. And now I want to make sure that what I'm doing is meaningful. So I go to college for my master's. I get my cybercrime degree. And the idea was to, work for the government. But then, all that stuff happened with COVID. And I said, they don't need me right now. Let me figure out a different way to use this degree. Black businesses were pumping all over the place. And I was like, I'm really good with cyber stuff. I'm really good with tech. Let me, start creating ads and flyers and promotions and stuff and things for people. So I started with that. Then I was like, I want to start my own business. And I started with hookah tips, which is still thriving and going. And then I started going to other vendor events to support. And I was like, I like supporting Black businesses, but these vendor events are boring. I'm sorry, but they are. And I just feel like we could be doing a lot more here than just having these vendors, people buying and going home. Like, there gotta be a little bit more. So that's when me and my partner got together, and I was like, I wanna do my own vendor event, but I don't want it to just be vending. I want it to be networking. And I want to connect people in the community. And I want to see if I could get, sponsors, and see if I can put their business out there. And I want to be able to use Lina Leone video graphics and use that business to create all these promotions and ads for these businesses. And I was like, we could call it like Black Connect or something. And of course, my partner, he's the one that helps with all the names. And he was like, what about Black Owned Business Connect? I was like, I like that. I like that. And it went to Black Owned Business Connect. He gave me the other half of the money to start the LLC. And it just kind of went from there. And it started as one small event of just 30 people who got together to all these other events that are like sold out, 100 plus, how many ever plus, and starting to get into fundraisers and connect with other people. And the idea just started getting bigger and bigger as we started connecting with other Black owned businesses. It just started branching off into all these different things to now where it's more of like consulting. Now we're gonna take all of this that we do and bring it to other Black owned businesses, teach them how we do it, connect them as, individuals and as business owners, as groups, whatever it is, but we're gonna get the word out there. And we're not just gonna do it in Florida, we're gonna do it beyond Florida and beyond the world. So I have big dreams, and I just want to take everybody with me.
I love it. I feel like a lot of you talked to why you think doing the work is important. So I'm going to skip to my next question and just ask for you, from whenever you started to now, what have been some benefits that have come out of this effort. And it can be benefits that you can point directly to like business owners or just benefits for your own self.
I can, go ahead.
I would say the biggest benefit for me is when I see a client that I've worked with, like doing exactly what we set out to do and seeing them like showing up and being successful and utilizing the tools that I've given them. Like that is the thing that makes me most excited. Like I'm always like calling my director, like, girl, did you see this? I'm so like just be happy to see because there's nothing worse than like, pouring into a person and giving them everything you have and they just sit on it. And you're like, wait, but we just spent how much time together and you're doing nothing? And so to actually see people implementing our plan and utilizing those tools, it just makes me really happy. Like that is the part where or why I feel like I don't charge as much as I can, or I'm always willing to always offer something for free, because there's always that one or two people who are going to like value what they're receiving, and then they're going to take it, cultivate it, and grow it. And to me, that's so important. Like I think back to 2020 when I was hosting Afro markets in the midst of the pandemic, and there were people who showed up in their first market, and they had like a Dollar Tree tablecloth and not much of anything, handwritten price list. And now you're talking about, oh, I have a brick and mortar, I have a full skincare line, and all these, like to see that change just for by working with someone and coaching them and then providing them that opportunity, to me, that is priceless. You can't put a price on that because you're literally changing someone's life. And so for me, when I'm working with a business, I'm not just thinking about the here and the now. It's about like, how do we grow this and how do we, break those generational curses and create generational wealth from what we're doing. Like I'm a big thinker. I think I get more excited for my clients than they do. So they'll come to me with an idea and I'm like, no. We can think bigger than this. Like you want to do a state tour? No, we need to do a national tour, like those type of things. And so I just love to see people like flourish and grow. And so, I don't mind having those sessions. And so when I have a million ideas, but I can't implement every idea. So I don't mind sharing those ideas. So when I share those ideas with my clients and I see them doing it and I see them shining, that makes me super duper happy. Like beyond happy. So it's really not about any of my personal successes. I've had so many, but that's not what gets me excited. It's seeing other people succeed.
Right. I loved all the head nodding happening during that. We're all like, yeah, who else? For you, what have been some benefits in the work that you're doing?
I would say the best benefit for me is when I see an actual like connection happen, because I tell people all the time, maybe your service or product is not going to be for me, but I promise you that I'm going to get you referrals and I'm going to get you people that may need your product or service. So when I see like photographers or videographers or people that do makeup or sew clothes, when I see like some of the people that have been to my events, or maybe some friends or family or other colleagues, when I see them like on their page, on their story, and sharing, an experience of a service or product that they got from them, I'm like, yes, the connection worked and we're building and we're doing everything and it's going great. And you have those your Black friends, and like, Selena, referrals cost money. That's why you got Fashion Nova. And I'm like, listen, and that's not what it is for me. It's all about offering that support, because best believe it's gonna come around in some way, some shape or form, not directly through them, but in some other aspect. So that's why I always believe in giving out referrals all the time, because I will just sit down and somebody will just DM me like, hey, I heard about you from this person. I'm like, really? Okay, cool. How can I help you? So if it's happening to me, how can I not offer that same love and support to everybody else? And like Paige saying, it makes me so mad if I sit here and I have a great experience with you and I just referred you to somebody and they now have a bad experience. I'm like, man, what's going on? What are you doing here? Now I'm not done with you. Now I'm teaching you customer service because you're gonna go back to that person. You're gonna apologize. We're gonna fix this because that's how you become a better business person. So it always turns into something else, and it never fails.
I like that. I get really excited when there's a referral to us. We're just like, us? I mean, really we should be like, I know, but really, it really is like super exciting when that happens. Dovev, what about you?
Yeah, I know for me, man, I just love hearing these stories, man. This gives me more excited doing stuff like this. But for me, it's like I like being the Robin Hood for our community. So when I get access to information, I don't hold it in, right? I don't be like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to this. You know, this is top secret information. Like I actually put it out there. So I'll share an intimate example. So I'm partnered with a government contracting company where I don't know if you guys know, but the Biden and Harris administration are on a mission to double what they spent with minority-owned businesses over the next 5 years. Well, since I'm partnered with them, I got access to a call where they were literally talking about a $5 million contract. So for me, that blew my mind because I'm sitting here just listening in on the call, and these guys are just, and ladies are just talking gum-ho about a $5 million contract. And that's one thing that kicked in for me is like, oh, it's really just about the relationship, right? So a lot of times we think it takes all this, oh, I gotta have the biggest marketing plan, I gotta have the biggest budget. It's like, no, do you really care about who you are connecting with and networking with and building a relationship with? So like Lina said and Paige, like when you are referring people, you know, like I vouch for this person. So like I said, I just love being the Robin Hood and being able to offer these type of conversations, information, insight to people that are building a business. And like you may not be ready for government contracts yet, but how cool would it be if you start focusing on at least getting ready, so when the opportunity is there, you don't have to start fumbling through it. You already know exactly what to do. The process and what I've been told with government contracts, it's really just the process, right? The process is grueling, but once you get one, then they're like, okay, can they fulfill another order? Can they fulfill another order? So all it takes is one successful bid, and then you're off to the races. So yeah, I just love being the Robin Hood for sharing information.
What I hear you saying is if you stay ready. I don't remember what the second half of that quote is.
You don't have to get ready.
Yeah, you don't have to get ready.
I was like, if you stay ready, then you ready?
No, stay ready. You don't have to
I was
get
like
ready.
confident and
Comment.
instantly forgot.
I want to comment on what you said.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
D. Sorry to take over, but I just want to comment real quick
Oh,
about
you're
the,
good.
like, it's not about having the best like marketing plan or the best look. Like those things matter. Don't get me wrong, they do, but it's really your network. Like they say, your network is your net worth, right? And my grandfather always used to be like, oh, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I'm a brainiac, so I love learning. So I'm like, that's not true. If I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm going to have all these things, and that's not true. Like, you can be the smartest person in the room, but you're the poorest in resources. So at the end of the day, it's so important to cultivate relationships, because, you know, you never know when that relationship is going to come back around and you just get a contract based on who you know. My business has been able to flourish in the manner that it has is because when I left my 9 to 5, I cultivated relationships. I kept those relationships. I kept them going. And so, you know, I'm the first person that comes to mind for many opportunities, and it has really continued to open doors. So anybody listening, make sure you cultivate relationships. Like I would have to say, since COVID, I don't like going out. I don't like networking. I don't like doing any of this. But it's it's necessary. You have to do it, especially as a business owner. You know, I tell people all the time, like, I surprisingly am an introvert. I can sit at home and not say anything. But when you leave the house, you have to put on that mask and be ready to show up and be confident and, you know, um, cultivate those relationships.
I did want to piggyback off this. This is like a TED talk here, right? And so anybody watching this, okay, that is an introvert or maybe doesn't like talking to people, you are going to have to get uncomfortable, okay, in this journey of being an entrepreneur. I mean, you're gonna have to do stuff where you like, man, I can't believe I'm doing this. But the point is, once you get through it, you realize, oh, it's really not that bad. It's all about getting better. It's progress, right? I still remember my first talk. I spoke at a high school, actually got an opportunity to speak in front of almost 150 kids, right? I was terrible. I was terrible. I was beating myself up so bad, like, damn, how could you be so bad? Well, what happened was, a couple of the kids came up to me, like, man, your talk got me excited about doing my schoolwork, or it got me excited about like my goal and dream, right? And so a lot of times we in our head and realize that as long as you do the thing, like you'll get better. You'll get better. Like I'm a much better speaker than I was. I can't believe I'm saying this, almost a decade ago, right? Because that's when I got started. So I've gotten much better. And now I'm starting to hear people say that, man, I heard you speak 5 years ago. You done got a lot better than, and I appreciate hearing that because it means I'm progressing and not staying the same.
I have to say, I was on a panel recently and got a similar feedback of just like seeing the progress over time. It's really not something I think about specifically. Like I wasn't necessarily like on purpose trying to change, but I did really appreciate hearing that because you can really see your growth over time. And I feel like for me, just with the work I used to do, the main thing is I just am like a little less mean in those kind of situations. But yeah. So I asked you what's been the benefit, and then really my last question for you is if you have like a favorite moment in this work, then if it's different than your benefit, what's been like your favorite thing that has happened? If it's different than what you just shared.
I'd say for me, it's being able to give other people opportunities to like level up, right? So since we host events, it's all about the platform. So I love being in a position where if I'm hosting the event, I'm not saying, hey, I need to be the keynote speaker. I need to talk all, 45 minutes, an hour. I'm like, no, I want to work with a Paige. I want to work with a Lina. I want to work with Hillary. And so to me, that is my favorite thing because like when I see you guys in y'all element, that gets me excited. Like I can't wait to like Paige and I still remember our interview we did, right, with the power plug. Like I went home, I was so jacked. I'm like, babe, we about to take over the radio. I was just so excited, right? But that's what it's about when you work with people that had that energy, that had that synergy, that it's like, yo, let's level up together. And it's not this crab in the barrel mentality. That's when you get excited, right? And so I just feel honored and privileged to be in a position where that's what gets me excited. And my favorite moment is being able to reach out to people and say, hey, I'm doing this event in April. Love to have you as a speaker. Let me know what you need. Love to give you your own table, like all that type of stuff. So that's what gets me excited. Because I remember getting started in speaking. I was not given those opportunities. And what I noticed is one of the reasons I like doing my events is when I was going to those events, I was literally the only Black person or one of 5 out of 500 people in the room or 300 people in the room. I'm like, there's got to be more, Black entrepreneurs out there. Like, what is happening, right? So that's why I focus on doing that.
Yes. Yeah. Being the spot in the room is always an interesting experience. Anyone else, a favorite thing that's happened that's maybe different than what you shared earlier?
Yeah, so this was really interesting because it was unexpected. So I do this work. I don't really expect accolades or anything. I just do it because it's what I'm supposed to do. I feel like it's my gift. I didn't set out to do it. The opportunity found me. I cultivated it, and I love it. So I have a coach. My coach is in Canada. She's a pretty big deal. And I remember when I first found out about her, I was like super obsessed with her. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just love everything about her. I just have to learn. I just have to learn from her. I just have to learn. And I'm just like having my intern like stalk her on everything because I'm like, I just have to learn about this lady. And then so I start coaching with her. Well, I did like one of those master classes, and then the opportunities presented itself for me to become her coach. So I started coaching with her, and she just empowered me so much. Um, and so probably like 5 months later, I start working with, a new client. And she's like, first, can I just say, I just love you and I stalk you on everything and I watch everything that you're doing. And I was like, what? Me? And, like it just blew me away because I was not expecting that at all. I mean, she's like, I check your website all the time. I love your I've been saving up and all these different things. And I was just like, really? Like, I looked at my coach in this way, like she was on this pedestal. I never in a million years thought that anybody could look at me that way. And I remember just getting off that call and just crying and just being super like just happy that like, okay, the work I'm doing really does matter. Like people actually value this. They doing it. And so that to me was like a really happy moment because I felt like that was like something so small, but I felt like, oh, I finally made it. Like I made it. Like, mom, I made it. But that just, I think for me, it just let me know that like, you never know who's watching you and who's paying attention. And that's why it's just so important to just, continue to always operate in excellence. So if nobody's looking at if you feel nobody's liking your post or sharing your post, they're watching. People are watching. And so that just really made me excited to know that, somebody was literally like waiting in the wind to be able to work.
I stalk all of you, just so you know, pretty thoroughly, for real. So, I'm very excited about this conversation right now. Lina, what about you?
I would say that my favorite moments are, I promote probably over 100 Black-owned businesses like a month, literally. Because my algorithm falls into Black-owned businesses all over the world. If I see it, I just share it. I don't care. I ask them to send us stuff. Let's post it. Give you some visibility. And I wish I could visit all these businesses. Like I really do, but I can't, unfortunately. So whenever, businesses DM me and they're like, hey, thank you for sharing my business. I got so much business, or I got this referral, or your page, posting this has really helped me do this. And I'm just like, wow, okay, I'm able to do this without physically being there. So these tools that I've created, are actually working. And this, formula that I'm using is actually working, and it's getting people the results that, I want them to get. So it makes me super happy to see when, the work that I'm doing is actually working for the benefit. And I have like this super goal to continue to grow my page to, where it's 1 million followers and, it's authentic, and I can still share these businesses for free over all these other pages that are asking for money to do so. So that's my goal. That's my thing. So I can't wait to like get there and be flexing, like sharing businesses for free. And I got that 1 million page, because it's not all about money. Like Paige said, your network is your net worth. And people are like, oh yeah, you got sold out events. That's not even something that I brag about. I don't brag about my events selling out, because the only way that it's doing that is from my other events that I've had prior, providing an experience for people and then referring other people to my events. So if I wasn't putting the work in for people to do that, the event wouldn't even get sold out. So it's not like I'm gonna say it. If anything, I'm gonna brag about my work. You put in the work in, Selena. You probably need to eat a little bit more. But you know, just seeing that the work that you put in is actually working out for people is everything to me, especially when you can do it for free. Oh my gosh, that gives me butterflies. That gives me butterflies when I can like do something for you for free and you can, it gives you something. Oh my goodness, that makes me even more like, I'm sweating right now, y'all.
I'm fully in agreement with that sentiment. I think it's hard. That's a struggle that Josh and I, the co-founder of Green Book, have, is that vision of, I don't know, we just call ourselves socialpreneurs because we're like, we don't even necessarily care about making the money. We just need enough money to like keep the website running for free, and that these events can happen without us like having to come out of pocket. And even that, like the privilege to be able to do these things now without coming out of pocket compared to 2019 is like, it regularly blows our mind. But yeah, so I was just like smiling the whole time you were saying that. I agree completely. All right, so as you all can see, I'm super fangirling over here over these three. So I want to make sure you're able to find them. So if you could all tell us how to find you, I'm just going to go down in alphabetical order by first name. Dovev, how do we find you on the social medias or get a hold of you?
Yeah, the best way to find me, you could just look up Coach D Talks on all platforms. I'm on everything pretty much, unless it just came out within the last couple months. And then you can follow our business page at Closer to Our Dreams. If you put that in, we should come up. And I'm excited to connect with some people serious about building businesses in 2022. We got a huge goal this year of helping 10,000 Black and minority-owned businesses. And the only way we can do that is if we team up, lock arms, and work with people like Paige, Hillary, Lina, to expose our people to more resources and opportunities. Because let's be honest, it's not like we need people just throwing money at us. No, what we need is just resources and opportunities. If I had the resources I had now when I got started 10 years ago, man, I'd be, way further. But I want to be able to pay it forward and give those same resources to the people that's just getting started.
Right. Thank you. Lina, what about you? How do we find you?
So you can follow Black Owned Connects, just straight up Black owned with the ED, because we own things over here. Black Owned Connect, and then my personal page, you can find me Lina _ Leone with 4 underscores. But if you put Lina _ Leo, I'll pop up because I'm very, very active. So quick hints, if you are active and you post every single day, when somebody types in your name on Instagram, you'll be the first person to show up, even if you and somebody else has the same name. So that's a quick little tidbit I want to drop there for y'all, but definitely connect with Paige and Coach D and Hillary. These 3 people have resources that, I'm going to be snatching and plugging other people in. So now people are like, oh, I'm looking for this. Okay, well, I got somebody, y'all. Well, there's Paige, and I don't even know her from a nail in the wall, but trust me, I'm gonna act like I know you and I'm gonna refer you.
All right. And speaking of, last but not least, Paige, how do we find you?
So my business, Be Your Best You LLC, on everything. And then my personal page, PAIGEN, as in Nancy Tucker, INC, Inc. So Paige Tucker Inc. on everything.
All right, cool. And as usual, you can follow Green Book TB on pretty much all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and LinkedIn too, and TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing on any of those, but they're still there. Thank you so much for your time, y'all. You were absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Oh, and don't worry, we're gonna get you right on all those platforms.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm taking a class with Lina. I'm ready. All right. Thanks, y'all.